what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
U.S. Health Advisors wants you to know your health coverage does not have to be complicated. If you aren't happy with your insurance plan, there are unlimited and comprehensive medical plan options available to you right now. U.S. Health Advisors offers solutions which can't be found anywhere else. They can even offer you the ability to purchase more coverage if and when you need it. U.S. Health Advisors offers fair rates and no surprises. Sounds nice, doesn't it? If you'd like to know more, contact U.S. Health Advisors at 828-554-3032 or by email at daniel.bryant@ushadvisors.com.
Come back and see me. 3 days since the living room. I realized it's all my fault, but couldn't tell you. Yesterday, you'd forgiven me, but it'll still be 2 days till I say I'm sorry.
Hold it, now I want to hoodwink. Does it make you stop think? You'll think you're looking at Aquaman. I summon fish.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 24, volume 2 of Big Fan, Western North Carolina's favorite podcast for men and women under the age of 50, but over the age of 30 that are starting to look forward to coffee more than they are beer. My name is Hank Eimer, and I'm a big fan. Sitting across the table from a true podcast professional, not having to watch my co-host struggle for content, and finally being given the keys to take this show to its appropriate entertainment level.
My name is Andrew Moose, and I'm a big fan of substitute co-hosting and crossover podcasts, Hickory's Oktoberfest, and taking larger-than-life L's on fantasy football. Oh. What's up, Hank?
What's up, man? I'm glad that you're here. You know, it's always been my dream to sit across from somebody that matched my talent in here, okay?
I appreciate that.
I do. I appreciate this because Chad, for so long, has felt like he was in charge. And when we walked in here, you talked to me about what seat that I wanted. And, you know, it's understandable because Chad's up from that seat and you wanted to know, hey, which seat do I want? And to be completely honest, this is the lead seat, okay? This one right here is the lead seat for the podcast.
You're the captain now.
This is the captain's chair, okay? So when Chad gets back, he can sit in the co-captain, or we'll say navigator. We'll just name him Moose, okay,
gotcha.
From here on out.
Gotcha.
Okay? Or Goose.
Goose. I'm your Goose. I'll be your Huckleberry.
That sounds good to me. So before we get to Chad, the one thing that I wanted to notice is I don't know if you kind of felt a different vibe with our music that we were bringing today, because we've been playing a lot of new stuff. Not today.
No, whenever you walked in, you're like, I got a new one for us, and you know, it usually goes the hip hop, the new country, and then today you said, let's listen to Bare Naked Ladies 1 week, and because
well, this song has reared its head back in my life because we were trying to determine when this really hit the radio station waves, right. And it was probably 1999 ish, yeah. Right around there. And catchy tune back then. You know, for me, I was senior in college, right? And you know, it was catchy. Girls loved it. It was a great tune. You'd hear it playing a million different times. But my little boy is singing this song, and I think he heard it on Pop Rocks. That's a little plug for XM Radio, but I think that's where he heard it. And I have heard Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken, about 1 billion times in my house.
It's so catchy.
It is catchy.
You think it's because of that? It's kind of got that kind of quick cadence, so it's kind of like rap. So he likes it like that.
I think that's probably part of it. But you know,
you turn him on to 311 then.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Right.
That'd be a good kind of transition to 311. But you know, when I was thinking about it and we were walking in here, I was like, you know, this song probably wouldn't hit one of my playlists if it weren't for this.
Yeah, it's not on any of my playlists. Right. But Bare Naked Ladies, they still tour. They still do it real hard. You know, they're doing the same thing as a lot of those early 90 bands are. They're like basically like combining efforts with other bands. You know, right. they're doing with
Sugar Ray.
Yeah, you know, the same late 90s, early 2000s bands that were just bangers back in the day.
For sure.
But now they're not, you know, they might not have the prowess, I would say, to fill up arenas anymore. But you pair them with
No Doubt
or whoever whoever they are, and they can fill arenas. And they're following the same mold as the boy bands and the
hip hop,
Pepper and all that, and all those guys. So they're not stupid,
not dumb at all. No. And I guarantee there's a lot of 40-year-old women drinking wine to 1 week.
Chinese chicken.
I know. Every weekend, I'm sure that's happening. But that's what made me think of it. My son's a big listener, and so I'm sure this will only spark more of an obsession for it when he hears it, on the podcast. So, Chad is a big segment guy. When we walk in here, usually it's like, hey, I've got an idea for a segment. Let's talk about it. And he usually just kind of springs it on me. But, a good segment is Chad. So let's talk Chad, okay? Because Chad has put us in this predicament, right? He's put us in this situation right here. Chad has a challenging time with scheduling.
Sure.
Okay? And I believe that Chad's scheduling comes down to his fascination with being talent, okay?
Okay.
Certainly not talented, but talent. Because Chad, as you know, and you've seen him in an atmosphere that kind of favors dancing and emceeing and being the center of attention, has a tendency to demand a certain amount of respect.
I've caught that vibe.
Yeah. And it comes across in his scheduling because we should have done this a couple of days ago. And I think to Chad's, let me kind of fight for Chad here. I think when Chad does his schedule, it's probably on a napkin that's probably just grossly torn up. And there's probably 19 different things that are legitimately things that he needs to get done with no order.
Right.
And he shoves them in his pocket. And the morning of, he goes to do those 19 things, and he just doesn't get them done. Or he's got to make the order different.
Or he like the napkins got washed in the washing machine or something.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. So whatever gets done, gets done. And I think that's what Chad does, because you have to sit there and revolve around your talent. And that's how bigger talent has gotten in trouble. So, he's already lost his captain's chair. What is next?
What is next?
What is next for Chad? I don't know.
Well, we wish him the best. We hate that he couldn't make it today. But it's good to be sitting next to you. Across from you. Down the corner from you.
No, and I told you in the things that I love the most, this is only going to allow us to take the entertainment level to what it should have been when this show was started so many years ago. So, I think that that's probably appropriate.
It's one of those things, okay, full disclosure, like I'm a producer. I help run this network, right? So part of my job is scheduling. And it is scheduling you guys to come in here every week. And Chad,
he's a moving target.
He is. And and he does give me notice. It's not like he doesn't not show up.
Sure.
But
complete professional.
Right, absolutely. I don't know. I just don't think he's got the hang of Google Calendar yet.
Not yet.
Right on.
But you know what? We just need to tie ourselves together with our calendars, and that way we're all synced in, and maybe do a text every morning and every night before we go to bed just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Right.
Maybe you can get a personal assistant. I don't know. Maybe we can work that in here. Isn't that on the budget?
That's
for the big fan?
A couple weeks ago when he had to reschedule, he did shoot us a text at 3:30 in the morning.
Of course he did. We all know where that. He probably just saw a UFO.
Yeah. So, and that's, and because Mary Margaret is also on our text chain, and she, whenever he sends us text, sends out text at 7 a.m., I'm like, ooh, that's 4 a.m. Washington time.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm sure she gets a kick out of that.
Oh, too. I'm sure she hates that. I'm sure. I don't even think about that when that comes across, but sure enough, I'm sure she hates that.
No.
Yeah. Well, Chad, we wish you well. He's at the market, which, like I said earlier, market is a funny thing for those listening not in our area. The furniture market, which is huge to our community and huge to our unemployment and employment. This time of year, they have their market where, Chad's obviously not in it, but in printing, he has to do a lot of stuff for them, and it kind of runs your 2 weeks.
Right, sure it does. I've got a bunch of buddies in the furniture business, and, you might just don't call them.
Yeah.
You might as well just not call them. But it is a 2-week drunk for a lot of them.
Sure.
But, they get down. They work hard, but they play real hard those couple weeks too.
But with that being said, when you're 25 in a furniture rep and you go to these things and you have a hard day and then you go out hard and you can do it for 2 weeks, when you're 43, it's hard to do that. And I can only imagine that after day 2, Hankheimer's shutting it down.
Yeah, it's like y'all just handle it.
Yeah.
After that, it's one of those things where, full disclosure, I quit drinking a few months ago, and I really lame. And one of the reasons is that I just like hangovers are just awful.
Awful.
Like, it's I guess it's just mortality catching up with you, or whatever. But just a couple beers and it's just like it was the worst.
Right.
So I just had to make a decision. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And so 2 weeks of that. What's that like?
Yeah.
That's nothing I want to. I mean, it would if you don't want to make $1 billion in this world, you come up with the pill that keeps you from getting hungover.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right.
Where's that guy at?
I don't know. He's spending
Come on, science.
He's spending too much money on Instagram or TikTok, like some other social media avenue. But, like you were saying about the partying for those 2 weeks, part of all of us have different requirements on how we're supposed to show up for work, right?
Right.
I mean, different uniform levels, different, we have to be ready for different things. Obviously, a surgeon needs to be a little bit different than a first grade teacher, than a garbage man, than a real estate agent. Then, it's everybody's days fluctuates a little bit different. Could you imagine what you look like on day 14 of the market after partying for that hard?
Haggard.
Golly.
So haggard.
Jiminy Christmas, you'd look awful. And I'm saying you.
Oh, I would. Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Most of those furniture guys, they do dress to the nines.
They do, man.
They really do. Like I said, I've got friends in that, and I'm like, God, it's like, you guys, you know how to dress. Like, at that point, I bet they come in like just shirt on tuck, their bow tie or whatever, like half off.
Stained shirt. Patch on the elbow of their jacket
on the furniture,
ripped off.
Sleeping on the furniture.
Oh, I'm sure it's nasty.
Just pick out whatever you like.
Take it. Just take it. Something like that. What we mentioned, bounced on right there is we were talking about social media. I don't like. It's funny because you're obviously younger than I am, but
thank you.
You're welcome. But so email started to come in college. Cell phones right when we got out.
Yeah. I'm not that much younger than you. I'm 39. I'm turning 40 next year. My first email address was my freshman year. I got my LR email address. Yeah.
Okay, so not that far.
Right.
So I feel like we were really, technology. We were introduced to it young, and we got into cell phones and everything else. But the social media platforms are starting to pull away from me just a little bit. You know what I mean?
I definitely do.
It's the chase for fame. I understood Facebook. I understood Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. TikTok, have you ever seen this thing?
It's like Vine, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's just like short
rich.
video. It's short videos that kids are pumping out and they share with one another and their friends. And
try to make me famous.
Sure.
Kind of, how many likes can I get? How many things?
Right.
It's just ridiculous to think that is like causing this much disruption, but it is.
Right.
In social media, especially for the 21 through 13.
Sure. And the only, I guess, pause, or not even pause, but solace I can take from this is that I bet we're going to get some really good filmmakers here in about 10 years. All these kids are just like whipping out videos left and right. They're doing some really cool stuff and putting together some cool stuff. Maybe we'll see something good out of it. That's the only thing that I can imagine. I've never seen Snapchat. I don't know what Snapchat looks like.
Yeah.
TikTok, whatever. But it's one of those things that, maybe something cool will come out of it. Who knows? But as of right now, not yet.
No. And I'm with you. I don't know what Snapchat, I've never used Snapchat.
Yeah. You don't like cat filters? You don't like
oh, no. Those aren't for me. I know what a Vine is, but I guess that's what TikTok is. Somebody was telling me about it, and, it just seems like it's, but, I have a strange thing. Like, I don't love social media.
Right.
And so for me, I'm like, it's getting further and further down. Like, pretty soon 2-year-olds are going to be holding it, wanting to, do a Vine of themselves, and so it's just getting further and further. But I just find it so weird how it's much bigger and bigger and bigger it can continue to get.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't on Facebook, and I do kind of look at Instagram, but it is like a dark hole.
Sure it is.
And that, I think most of the public views it as, you get on it and you're like, where did that last 5 minutes go?
Right. Or 5 hours go.
Or 5 hours.
Some people are just super, tunnel vision when it comes to that sort of thing. They get on it and it's just all day.
Right.
All day.
Right.
But, I will say, in social media's defense, I'll stand here and defend social media a little bit.
Good job.
There are some great things that come about because of social media. You can granularly target people. You can, really hone in on, advertising for business, and and especially with some of the things that I do outside of work, that's how I engage folks and get them to come to my shows and everything else, share music, do that thing. So there's some really cool stuff with it too.
Right.
However, there's a dark underbelly of that stuff, and it's you just got to be really careful, especially with kids. And
because I do think that you're exactly right with advertising and stuff like that. You get to a point where it's the only thing you can do because it grabs so many people's attention, and it is smart business. But like you're saying, if people put their value to themselves linked to it, it's rough.
Speaking of advertising,
yeah,
absolutely. You like that segue? Yeah. That's how professional podcasters do. Taking notes. Cool. So, if anyone out there is interested in sponsoring this show or any other shows on the Mesh, it's a super low cost way to get your name out there, and you can really get a targeted audience, and it'd be awesome for your business. So
yeah. We've had several people do it on our show. They've talked about how other people have seen it, and so it's been successful.
That's right.
And so you guys do a good job of doing it. So.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you to Dan Bryant for sponsoring this podcast. We appreciate him a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys Health Advisors.
All right. Other thing I want to talk about. We talk about the market. The market doesn't make me think of furniture. Well, it does make me think of furniture, but the thing that it makes me think of is fall. And it's kind of like when I hear people getting ready for the market, I'm like, well, it's fall. It's got, they have spring and fall. So it's fall market. That's fine. When I start to get almost agitated this time of year because I like holiday seasons. I really do. And I'm looking forward to Halloween. Really am. Thanksgiving, get with your family. Christmas is great, right? But it gets me so aggravated, the timing of all of this stuff.
Explain.
Okay, so Halloween is 2 weeks away.
All right.
It is reasonable to think, okay, we're going to start to see spiders and spider webs and jack-o'-lanterns and stuff like that. Okay, and that's I agree with you. You might
perfectly acceptable to have a jack-o'-lantern on your stoop on October 17th.
Absolutely, right? You're going to have kids that want to go buy costumes. We're going to do this. Is 2 weeks in to the holiday. 3 weeks in, even, okay, I can accept that. But with that first jack-o'-lantern comes like a cornucopia kind of thing, and it's that one marketer's way of saying, Thanksgiving's right around the corner.
It's like Hollow's Thanksmas.
Yeah, it is. It is coming right around the corner, and you see people wearing sweaters when it's 90 degrees and trying to figure out when that pumpkin spice latte is coming out. And there's no transition. You don't get to enjoy Halloween because people are shoving Thanksgiving down your throat. And then, God forbid, you get into November because that's when the Christmas music's got to start.
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
Yeah, Lowe's. If you go to Lowe's Hardware, there's already Christmas trees up.
Oh, there for sure are.
Yeah,
there for sure. And it just angers me that we cannot. We've got 3 months here. Can we not merge them together? Can we celebrate when Halloween's over? Put out the damn
pumpkin pie.
Pilgrim crap.
Get the pumpkin pie.
Put the pilgrim crap out, okay? That's what I want. And when we're done eating, that's fine. Then you can put out whatever you want from Starbucks, the red cups, whatever it is. You can see I'm passionate about this. I don't like it.
You know what really grinds my gears about the holidays?
I know, man. I cannot stand that. And that is the worst thing ever because right when those red cups come out, there's an agent in our firm. Right when that red cup comes out, She'll come in, she's got fur-lined boots on, and she's got a scarf on, and probably a toboggan, and it's 90 degrees out, and she's just trying to push her way straight into December.
Come here, Christmas.
I know, it's awful, and I think that's kind of what works me up about these holidays.
Yeah,
I'm
the same way. Hank, I'm the same way. I like all three holidays just the same. Fine, great. Especially for kids that love it. Thanksgiving's more for adults. Getting together with family, the same thing. But I'm with you. I'm on your team on the let's just celebrate one at a time. Can we just have time for all of them? Like October. Thanksgiving, or October, Halloween, November, Thanksgiving, December, Christmas.
Right.
Let's do it. If I go to anyone's house on Thanksgiving and they got a Christmas tree up, I'm turning around and leaving.
Shoot them.
I don't care. I know I used to run a Christmas tree business back in the day. And people were like, are you going to deliver before Thanksgiving? Absolutely not.
No.
I refused.
No.
Probably lost a handful of customers. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just out of morale.
Yeah.
Or morals, rather.
Yeah.
Forget it.
No, it's not right to do, and I applaud you. I applaud you on holding firm on that because that's ridiculous for them.
My
to think
ideals
that.
are steadfast in that.
Yeah, I enjoy getting to the point of planning it because even the planning of Thanksgiving, my in-laws are talking about what are we going to do now for Thanksgiving, and I know we have to do that because sometimes we go to Georgia.
You got so many other family stuff to deal with.
I understand that, but when they start asking the question, I start to tick a little bit, and it just angers me just a little bit.
Start to itch,
and so I just want to enjoy the month, the holiday that is designated for the month. Okay?
I agree.
Okay.
Can we write our congressman or something like this?
I would.
Pastor McHenry's listening to this.
I would love it.
Talk to him about that?
I would love it. I think this should be part of the presidential debate. Is if you're going to stand behind this, then you've got my vote.
This is my platform.
I dig it. So I'm in on that. The one question I have for you here, and we'll probably in 2 weeks we got another show, so we're going to get a little bit closer to what Halloween. Right. We'll talk. It'll be a Halloween spooktacular, I'm sure. But so I got a little boy, and he's all ready for Halloween, and he's got his costume. Well, today I decided instead of a sales meeting for October, I'm just going to have a costume party.
Sure.
And the funny thing is costume parties are funny because you have people that'll go all in and do it.
Right.
Do it. And then you'll have people that don't want any part of it. And I think it's hilarious because there's not this, hey, I want to be involved or I don't want to be involved. There's a damn costume. This person looks like, Macho Man Randy Savage, and then this person just looks like Jane from accounting, right? And so I cannot wait to see. So I've sent out the email.
Right.
Instead of a sales meeting, we're having a Halloween costume contest.
I can get behind that.
I was going to ask a couple of, and I'm putting you on the spot here, a couple of reasonable, as the boss, the leader here, what are some, do you just go opposite end of the spectrum and just say, that guy's got some weird stuff going in the closet and could be somebody we need to look at? Or do you play it safe and go like football player?
Oh, football player. I've done it. Honestly, it depends on how I feel. Okay. And I've gone months and thought about it and have gone all out a few times and knocked it out of the park. And then sometimes I'll just throw a wig on, or something like that. Just it's like, oh, there was an attempt.
There was an attempt,
right? I'm not the guy who just shows up in clothes and just and laughs at everybody else's costumes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Guy that shows up at the party, and the guys that show up at costume parties that don't wear costumes,
the worst.
That's what grinds my gears.
Yeah, me too.
It grinds my gears. Like, why even come?
Why come?
Yeah,
to make fun of people.
It's like
you're being made fun of.
You got $20. Go to Walmart and get you something.
Yeah, get a mask.
Yeah,
do something.
Do just little effort.
Right,
little effort. You want to come here and eat our trick or treat candy or whatever,
right?
And not wear a costume?
Right.
Get out of here for that.
I've got a couple of ideas. I was thinking, I kind of want to buy one of those huge blow-up dinosaurs. You know what I'm talking about?
Like for the front yard?
No. The ones that the people get into.
The
T-Rex. I kind of want one of those.
Those are great.
But I don't think I could sit at my desk in that. I don't think I could knock out some emails in that thing. So I think that's probably.
Or you know what you do that does in your coworkers listen to the podcast?
Oh, maybe.
Probably all of them. You know what you do is you're like, you buy it and you just put it in the closet or in your car, and you're just like, I just decided not to do anything this year. And right when the costume party, go and you put it on.
Come down to the costume party
and you just rock it.
Yeah, that might be what I do. That might be what I do. I know. I like that idea. I was thinking either that or going in full Michael Myers. You know, some of our ladies at our office are a little bit jittery, and so that one might it might freak them out a little bit. So I was going to go there, and then the other one was pro wrestler. You cannot ever go wrong with pro wrestler. You cut a shirt up. You throw a wig on, you throw a "hey brother" in there or something like that. Oh yeah, and you get it. The leotard is the part that I can't get over. I don't think I can wear a leotard leotard into the office.
Yeah, it's you might have an HR issue.
Could.
You never know.
Could.
You never know.
You never know.
In this day and age.
Yeah. At 43, too, if you go in there, ripped shirt on, everything else, it's almost looks sad before it does. You know.
So what was, if you had to rank and file your best Halloween costumes, I know we're going deep into Halloween.
Oh, I know, right? That's good.
What were your favorite costumes that you've pulled off?
Okay, I had one that I was, I did Teen Wolf. That was my favorite one, and I was probably, I don't know, I was young, right? I was really young, so I did the wolf mask and the T-shirt, but I did it like whatever T-shirt he had, I wrote on it and everything, and so it was right when Teen Wolf came off, and I was down the street. My mom and dad let me go by myself, and so I was walking down the street, and I got my candy stolen. Okay. And I'm not going to go any further.
Is this like a hazing incident?
It was. Okay. It was high schoolers. Right. And so I'm not going to go any further because I'll share it on the next podcast because it was the most, it was like kind of an event, a Halloween event. But that one was a good one. I went to Spuds McKenzie one time. Remember Spuds McKenzie?
The pit bull terrier that was sponsored by, or was the spokes dog of Budweiser.
Yes, right? And I went when I was about 8. So that goes to tell you there
you go, carrying on Bud Heavies.
Yeah, where I was. And so I was Spud McKenzie one time, and I went as a break dancer, which I love that one because my mom actually got me this suit that you would never wear again. Ever, I think we got it at the mall, like at Spencer's. Had some parachute pants, and there was like I don't know, it was like piping. It was pretty solid.
Spencer's is such an underrated store. Man.
It really is.
It's got all kinds, Magic 8 balls to whatever you want for Halloween. You know, it's all there.
Fart spray, all of it. How about you?
Posters, black lights, lava lamps.
Any Wu-Tang shirt you want?
Forever.
Yeah. How about you?
I've had a few just really good ones. Though the most recent one that I had was I dressed up like the Pope. Actually, like went on the internet and found like a really like nice like Pope outfit and wore it. You can find it on Facebook if you're looking for it. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You know, one of the things that we did.
I just also dressed up as the Village People. That was with my band a few years ago. That was also fun.
Did you perform as the Village?
We did.
Oh, nice.
We did. I was I was out in public in a
all leather.
All leather.
Yes. Yeah. I think I saw a picture of that.
Yeah, you might have.
I think I saw a picture of that.
That was pretty good.
That is pretty good. The other thing that I will say that we did, which was a lot of fun, if you've got a bunch of good buddies, 10 of you or so we went out and had beers one night, and we put in a hat all of our names, and you had to pick out a name, and that's how you had to dress for Halloween. You talk about
Russian roulette.
Oh man, and no holds barred. Okay, you had to go and come out hot on them, and everybody did.
Nice,
everybody did.
That's a really good idea.
It's a great idea.
It's like salad bowl, like just
it was great because so I got Michael Banks, he got me. Somebody got Davey Black, somebody got CJ, and you come as them, and when the first person walks in the door, you're like, oh, you hammered him, and then you see you walk in the door, and you're like, oh, man, and you can tell the conversations that they've had with wives and, like where they're getting their, like they may have a T-shirt that's from your house, and you're like, come on, you undercut me there, come on. Right. So, but that was probably the most fun that we've had on Halloween.
Nice.
You got to try it one year.
Yeah. It's not too late.
No, it's not too late. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Away from the holiday stuff, we celebrate these things, and they're just events. But I think that a portion of the show that I'm going to rally around should be hero of the day. Okay?
Okay.
Hero of the day. There's two guys. This is a new segment, Chad, if you're listening. There's two guys that just fell 1A, 1B. Okay, it wasn't 1 and 2. It's 1A, 1B. So I couldn't choose my hero of the day.
What's the first one?
Okay, so there's a little boy, 4 years old, Gray Forester. Okay?
Like Subaru, gray Subaru Forester?
Same one.
Okay.
Same exact one. And him and his sister were out in the backyard, and all of a sudden, his little sister falls in the pool. He goes in and saves her. Okay?
Okay.
Saves her out of the pool.
He's how old?
4.
And she is?
2.
Oh,
okay.
Nightmare scenario.
Okay, so we're not going to get into the logistics of where Mother was, okay? But
where was this?
This Tennessee.
Okay.
Okay. He's very proud. If you see a picture, if you Google him,
above ground.
I don't know. That's a great question. Could have been a pond that they call pool.
Pond's good for you though.
Pond's great for me. So this Gray Forester kid, the way that the mother found out is the 2-year-old walks in and says, "I falled in the pool. I falled in the pool." Okay, there's a picture of the family.
Here it is. He'll come up on your screen.
Yep. If you're watching now, if you're looking at us on video, you'll see I falled in the pool and he saved me. And he said that he jumped in the pool and she was doggy paddling, and I grabbed her tummy and I was trying to get her out so she could breathe. You know what kind of man that is?
Oh man!
At 4 years old.
Yeah. Here's the thing. A lot of 4-year-olds don't know how to swim.
No.
And much less able to save a tree. Is this a video of him like explaining how he did it right here on the bottom left?
I think it is. Do you know what the difference is, I bet, in him saving?
Well, I'll guarantee you that net and fence is new.
Yeah, I bet you it is too. I bet it is too. Do you know why he saved that little girl? Because he's probably getting ready for a noodling event somewhere in Tennessee. You know where they grab those catfish at?
Like this?
They bring him out. Look at how strong that little boy is. He's wearing that 16.
Well, I mean, she's almost this size.
I know. Well, you know what? Good for him. He's my hero of the day because this kid deserves it. But Tennessee, you know what? And the other thing that I thought about, the reason why he is now 1A and not 1B in the hero of the day, have you ever seen anything good within the last 12 months for a Tennessee Vols fan? Because for anybody that doesn't follow football, they're awful. They're awful.
Yeah, that's it's pretty sad.
Right.
They have such a rabid fan base, and they're just letting every one of them down.
Oh, they're letting every one of them down. And that color is brutal that they wear. And so just getting this from here on out, all the UT fans out there, you can hold on to know that Gray Forester could be your quarterback in 12 years.
12 years?
Oh, no, well, no.
14
years.
14 years.
In 14 years, we need to see Forrester on the back of that jersey doing something great because he's saving 2-year-olds out there. Maybe he can save this fan base.
Powerful Gray Forester, man. Way to go, pal.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1A. This is 1A. I'm going to put this down. 1A, hero of the day. He's our first one. Second hero of the day. There's a man that I can only tell you I would like to celebrate every day.
I got him queued up.
Okay. Are we going to be able to play the clip?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so there's this gentleman.
Coming in hot with this.
There's a gentleman that was on the Wheel of Fortune contestant. And you know when Pat Sajak says, "Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself," right? Tell us a little bit about yourself. This guy comes with this.
Yeah, he comes real hot with this. And I saw it, earlier this week. And when was the song? Like this week sometime?
I think so. Make sure the volume's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was earlier this week. This gentleman, Blair, this cat right here. Look at him. You know that he's got a big beard. If you're just listening to it, he's got a big beard. He's got a shaved head. He is not nervous. Look at his eyes. He is not nervous.
He's about to blow Pat Sajak's mind right here.
He blew my mind. Let's hear it.
All right, here we go.
In a loveless marriage for the last 12 years.
Excuse me? Did we hear that right?
I've been.
So he's trapped in a loveless marriage.
Right.
And that's, bless his heart.
3 stepchildren named Star, RJ, and Ryan, and I have 1 rotten grandson.
No wonder he came here.
I think when he said I was in a loveless marriage to an old battle axe, that's where he sent he's really got the tone set right there.
Oh boy.
He later, Pat was talking to him a little bit about it, and he later said how much he loved his family. But for him to come in...
he's just joshing them. Like, he's just doing it for TV. I mean, I wish more people would do that. People take it so serious.
Well, that in itself, that's exactly what I was going to say. That man right there does not take himself serious. He does not.
No.
Blair does not care about that appearance.
Look what the beard he's rocking. He could care less.
He could care less that he's on Wheel of Fortune. If he walked out of there with $400, $0, or $1,800, he didn't care. He was getting in that line. He's been planning that for weeks. And his wife's in on this. His grandkids are in on this. Like, I'm just going to roast you on TV just for gas. Yep.
Or he didn't, and he's like, I got you.
Yeah, I bet you he is that guy is so fun to hang out with.
Oh, surely.
I guarantee it. So that's my 1B hero of the day.
Gotcha.
Okay. There's, because a guy like that doesn't give much concern with most.
No.
I don't think.
0 Fs.
0 Fs. That's exactly right. 0 Fs. So with sitting in the captain's chair, as I normally do, Chad has a tendency of hijacking the conversation.
Sure.
He loves to talk about things like, I don't know, Enrique Iglesias or, things that make him feel good, how he's going to dress this weekend. I just want to take a few minutes because it's my show and my content. I want to talk about Major League Baseball because it's been amazing.
It has been.
It's been amazing.
Nats just put it on.
Gosh.
It wasn't even, it was, yeah.
Okay, so if you're a baseball fan, we have seen great baseball so far. And me and my little boy went to the first game for the Braves.
Okay, first home game this year?
For postseason.
Oh, postseason.
So the first playoff game. So it was 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Right.
They lost 7-6. It was electric. I mean, the atmosphere was incredible. That series went back and forth, and then they lost.
At least you didn't go to Game 5.
I know. But we still saw a loss.
Right.
But it was amazing atmosphere. Side note from the game, there was a guy behind us who was a huge Cardinals fan, and he did not care that he was in Atlanta. Did not care. Okay. He was yelling, raising Cain, everything. There were 2, I'd say 25-year-old guys behind me. Super polite, really nice to my son, was great. But they proceeded to drink probably 10 beers while there. They came in hot. They were leaving hot. And the more that guy talked, the more they talked. And it was great to watch. It got tense for a minute, but then the old man realized that he was going to get his hip broke if he kept on talking. And so,
well, I mean, when you do that, when you go to hostile territory and you proceed just to talk all kinds of garbage to opposing fans, the home team, it's not going to end well.
No,
especially when you got 225 guys that are just 225-year-old guys that are just ham-boned behind you.
Yeah, and it did not go well because it was up and down the entire time. And then when the Cardinals went down by like 3, people were just hammering him.
Sure.
Hammering him. And he was sitting down, he was sulking. And then when they came back, it was awful. It was awful. And my little boy got to see, the fun part of it, because it didn't get out of hand, but he got to see what a true playoff game was all about. But unfortunately, we lost that. But the Nationals, so there's usually people are like, I'm a baseball fan, like a big baseball fan, but you're usually an American League guy or National League guy. Are you?
Me?
Everyone? Yeah.
Oh, well, I grew up a Braves fan. Living in the South, you're either Braves, Cubs, Reds, because there's the 3 teams you see on TV.
Right.
You got TBS, WGN, and whatever the Reds channel was.
Yeah.
Didn't bother with them so much. But a lot of my summers consisted of going to my grandmother's, working in the garden, coming home, picking stringing beans in the den, watching the Braves, and then going to play little league at night.
Right.
And so Del Murphy, all that growing up watching those guys. But, just like 90% of all baseball fans, don't watch a lot until the playoffs, and then I'm rabid,
right?
And it was, the way that series ended, it was just, I talked to a guy who went to that game, and he was just like, it was the worst.
Yeah.
Just the worst. But, what do you do? When they put up 9 runs in the first, you're just like, let's get drunk.
Yeah.
I guess.
I got off of work early. Right, and it was right when the game started. And so I was like, all right, it started at 5, and I left work right at 5, and I went home, and I was like, all right, I'm going to be able to.
Reagan was like middle of the first or something.
Yeah, I was like, Reagan's going to take Harris to soccer, whatever. I pull in, and it's the end of the bottom, and I'm like, I'm going back to work. This is terrible. Yeah. Lose 9 runs in the first inning. It was awful.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
And so,
I think there's got to be nerves involved in that. Had to have been.
Well, it's pitching. The pitching, too, is the Braves' pitching has let them down. And that's what is amazing about the pitching for the Nationals is they're starting 4, like the 4 guys that start, Anibal, Sanchez, and Strasburg, and Corbin, and Schwarzer. Lights out.
And have been there forever, too.
Lights out.
Yeah, they're just they've got that team chemistry that I think they're almost due, those guys, But it's, historically the Braves have lived and died by pitching, like they, back in the 90s when they were winning, just pennant after pennant after pennant, they lived on those pitchers that, their combined ERA was like 3.
Yeah. They were. I mean, their pitching staff was
really good,
silly. I think the thing that I really like all baseball, even the bad guys in baseball. But I like Bryce Harper, but I don't love Bryce Harper. I like Acuna. Yeah. And Acuna does a lot of dumb stuff, like he'll jog on a ball that he thinks is a home run, but he does give he loves the game.
The Braves some games this year, and some.
Yeah, you're having real trouble over there. You're having real trouble over there.
Yeah, I know. Get this on camera.
Yeah, this is real trouble. This man doesn't know how to use a chair.
I don't.
See, you're ruining my podcast.
Just keep talking. Hank.
Okay. Well, the problem with the way that Bryce plays and the way that Bryce plays and the way that Acuna plays is that Bryce plays it with attitude, like a bad attitude, like I'm better than everybody. Acuna plays it with passion. Like that's the way I feel. Like he when he you call it pimped a home run. He hits the ball, he kind of jogs. He's like, I hit it, and then it hits off the wall. His is more emotion. When Bryce Harper is rounding third on a home run and he blows a kiss to a pitcher or does something like that, it makes me as a baseball fan want to punch him in the face.
Sure.
And when they won last night, this is how much I love. I think 99.9% of baseball, and unlike you and majority of, I watch a ton of baseball during the season. The first time when they won that game, the first thing I thought was, I'm glad Harper's not on that team. He just got traded to Phillies.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm glad he's not on. I hope he never enjoys this.
Yeah,
that's terrible. After I did it, I was like, I feel kind of bad as a person for wanting that against him.
Well, he did it to himself.
Yeah,
a lot of that stuff he brings on himself, and a lot of that stuff is, when you big boy people, it's just you. The only people that like that are the other people that do that.
Yeah.
And it turns me off watching stuff like that, and that's across all sports, to be honest.
Right.
When you see guys showboating or running up the score and this, that, and everything. We've talked offline a lot about this before, but that's how people get hurt too.
Yeah. Well, I said that yesterday is Correa. Carlos Correa hit a home run, and now we're talking about the Houston Astros New York Yankees series. Mm-hmm. He had a walk-off in their last game.
Where's that series stand right now? 2-2?
2-1. 2-1. He hits a walk-off, and he walks 12 feet and goes like this to his dugout, and then he takes off his helmet when he's coming down third, and he shoots it like he's shooting a 3. And it was a walk-off, and granted, celebrate, and I hope he celebrates. And if they win the World Series, it's going to be well worth it and everything. But the first time Correa comes up to hit next season, they won't do it because it's too important now. First time Correa comes up next season, they're going to plow him with the ball. And they're going to, everybody on the field is going to say, was it worth it? And Correa may say, Totally was.
Yep,
totally was.
Yeah.
But he got it. He got it back, and that's what I love about baseball because he's going to get his. It's not going to be now because it's too important. Or if they're up by 9 and Correa's up, and comes up to hit, they might do it then. But it'll be the first game that they see Correa, and they're going to say, "There's your boy."
We'll reference this podcast after when that happens.
I know it will happen. Write it down. It's the one thing we can do. So good. I'm glad I got to talk a little bit about baseball.
Sure.
He has a tendency to push me off that. I don't like it. So
it's your show. How dare you?
My show, my content.
Right. Absolutely. Right. How's your fantasy football team doing?
We're 3-3 this year. We started off a little rocky, and starting to get into.
Are you one league?
One league.
Same.
I cannot do 6 leagues.
I don't have time for.
I don't either.
That.
I don't either. And it just gets to the point where you're like, I can't follow third string running backs on bye weeks like these other guys can. I swear half of them have to pay somebody to pay a service.
There is. I've looked into that. I was like, how? For $100 league, $100 buy-in league, like, should you spend another $100 to try to win 1,000?
Oh, it seems
so. It's like a 5-to-1 bet.
That seems unreasonable.
It does seem unreasonable,
right?
Have I? Never tell.
Yeah, you certainly have.
If you look at my record, you can tell I haven't.
Okay,
because I've got some serious GM issues going on.
I do too. And 3-3, and I've got injury issues, and Gurley's hurt, and Amari Cooper's kind of banged up, and those are two of my. Those are focal points.
I only had one indirect injuries. My first pick was Michael Thomas, and with Breeze going out, it's like, well, Teddy Bridgewater's throwing to him. He's getting targets, but it's I have the problem that none of my guys are hurt, and they're all averaging between 10 and 15 points.
Yeah.
It's like, who do you play, and you get a matchups, and then obviously you pick the wrong ones and you lose 3 games here.
Yeah,
but Nate Banks beat me about 60 last week, so it doesn't really.
Oh, that makes sense.
I could have played my bench. Too as well, and still lost.
So that's hurtful. Yeah, that's hurtful. That's hurtful. Did you see? You talking about Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Brees? Did you see them at? I think it was an All-Pro. I don't know where it was, but they showed the difference between a backup and a starting quarterback, and they showed Bridgewater throwing at a dunking booth. Okay.
Oh, I did see this.
And he missed it 3 times. And then they gave Breeze 3 balls and he hit it 3 times. And it was just the difference in what a starting quarterback can do and what a backup quarterback can do.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater has what they say a different set of skills. I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Maybe that is true. I don't think Drew Brees is run. Do you think
NFL teams go ahead and plan for quarterbacks getting injured? So they say, okay, if Drew Brees gets hurt, game 3, I think what was. It's like, okay, we have these. We have to game plan every game of the year with Teddy Bridgewater. You think they do that preseason? Do you think they do that?
I think they have to look at it, but I also think that they look at quarterbacks that are probably more mobile, and they say, okay, Russell Wilson has a greater chance of getting injured than Tom Brady.
Sure,
and so they may. If you got a Cam Newton or somebody or a Patrick Mahomes, kind of a weird kind of guy right now. But if you have somebody like that, I think you almost have to plan for if somebody's running. Yeah, you're going to get hurt.
Are you a Panthers fan?
I do like the Panthers.
Is Cam going to get traded?
Oh, I hope so. I don't listen. I don't think it. I think his play has been awful.
Yeah.
I think he is just not playing very good football. And he's not as good a leader, I don't feel like, if that he deserves to. He's not leading that team. You can
he's a distraction of that.
Yeah, you can see him on the field that he is not a leader and that he does not deserve $19 million. If I think the backup right now is far superior to him. Superior.
Yeah, I agree. He's got a fumbling problem.
Yeah. Well, you see Kelvin Benjamin when he left the Panthers, they were like, what do you think of your success? He was like, I think it's when he went to Buffalo. He was like, I'm not with a great quarterback, but I'm with a quarterback that can hit his target.
Wow. Yeah. That is coming from Kelvin Benjamin, though.
That is.
Yeah. And he is a garbage human being. I hope you're listening to Kelvin Benjamin.
This is a guest on our podcast.
No, I agree. Kyle Allen with he could turn himself into a system quarterback and do really well in Carolina, which I think he is. You know, he's taking
they're winning ball games.
Yeah, he knows how to win, and that's something to be said about that. They said that Cam Newton was walking through a facility this week without a boot on, so we were going to have a quarterback controversy on our hands real quick.
Hard not to play the $19 million quarterback.
On another podcast on the Mesh, the Fried Pod with John Reap, he was talking about, what should the Panthers do? What should as a business, what should the Panthers do? Should they get rid of him since he's has some value while he has value,
right?
And then maybe trade for something that we maybe need, like another running back, so McCaffrey doesn't get just 1,000 touches a game.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So, I think there's a lot of options out there for him, but there's going to be a lot of people that are highly upset if Cam Newton starts.
Oh yeah,
week 8 or whatever it is.
Probably half of Panther Nation will be.
I don't want to say it. You think there's a tinge of racism in that?
I don't know about that. I think at this point he's made it pretty clear that he's not playing well.
No, he's not.
So to me, I think it comes down to he's playing like a third string quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where you hope that Kyle Allen keeps showing out, so they have to have a really hard decision. They make a really hard decision.
I mean, he's won 3 in a row, right?
But yeah, of course. It's one of those things where if Cam comes back and he starts playing gangbusters, then we have trade bait galore with Kyle Allen.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, I think you put Cam back in. I think they're going to put Cam back in. They've paid him $19 million.
They have to. They paid him so much money. They have to.
Right. They have to. So, yeah, I think that I don't know. I like the Panthers. I'm a Panther fan. I think Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, I look at uniform, like jerseys. Okay, but I'm not a jersey guy. I don't own a jersey, right? I'm not a jersey guy.
No, I have one.
Okay,
but it's not a Panthers jersey.
Okay, who is it?
Liverpool FC.
Okay, well that's different. It's a soccer jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 25 years old.
Well, that's another reason.
Right.
If I were to buy a jersey, I would buy a Christian McCaffrey jersey.
Sure.
Or I would buy a Luke Kuechly jersey. Like those are those guys. Or I would buy a
Ray McLeod.
Oh yeah, Ray McLeod.
Formerly of the Panthers.
Khalil Mack.
Right.
Or a Russell Wilson.
And Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, Ndamukong Suh. Or Russell Wilson. You think of guys that are out there just grinding, right? Grinding. And Christian McCaffrey is such a stud.
Yeah, he's the best he's the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah, and good dude. Good dude.
Comes from a good cloth.
Right.
And real hard worker. It's super smart. I every time I watch those guys play, he doesn't extend runs when he knows he's tackled.
Yeah.
And if you notice, and I've noticed, the last 10 years, 15 years, like seriously watching football, when guys try to extend runs, that's when they get hurt.
Yep.
And
his daddy told him that.
Absolutely. Take the 3 and go down. Like, man always dives forward. Yeah. Smart, very smart football player.
Yep.
And which is a huge change from what we're used to in Carolina.
For sure.
Yeah.
So got to talk what we wanted to talk about. That's good. And I know we're running up on our time, and our with our producer in here, we've got other producers out there. They're probably like, Hank, you need to stay on time here. But, we always ended up with our weekend. Your weekends tend to be pretty wild because you get gigs on weekends. Yeah, you're like true talent.
Hemmed up, man.
Are you hemmed up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Tired right now.
Well.
Yeah, we had October. I was the curator for the Hickory's Oktoberfest Pavilion tent this year. So I booked all the bands, and I was at the stage all weekend, shuttling bands back and forth. And then we played at the tent, and we played both after parties at the tap room both nights. So
holy cow!
Yeah, so it was a long weekend. So
nothing this weekend.
Going to the beach to play golf this weekend.
Okay,
so,
well that's
it's perfect.
Yeah, you get a little R&R.
Oh, for sure.
So you going with buddies?
Yeah, buddies. Yeah, hometown buddies.
Hometown buddies.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Is this a stay at the same place and play the same course? You play a different course?
We're just playing a couple. It's a bachelor party for a buddy of mine who's getting married next month, and about half of us play golf, half of them don't. So we're gonna go to some breweries, and I'm gonna watch them drink beers and probably drive them around and go to a concert. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
How about you? What beach?
Carolina Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you? What you doing this weekend?
I don't. Last weekend of sports, kind of.
Right.
Okay.
Hair games.
He's got baseball this weekend, and then he's been playing soccer. You know, he's been travel soccer this first real year of like being on a
CVYSA.
CVYSA, yeah. And it's been good. But you know, it's kind of funny to watch. You know, I played soccer in middle school and my freshman year in high school, and it's kind of funny when it works. And when it doesn't, it's awful, you know? And like 2 games ago, they were passing really well, and it was real unselfish play. And this past game, it was every time they got the ball, head down, doing their own thing, defense swarming on them. Right. Nobody gets a breakout. Nobody's helping anybody, and we lose 4-1.
Right.
The game before, we won 4-2, and it was like boom, 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 looking here, you know, switching the field. It was really good for 10, 11-year-old boys.
Right.
But how quickly they forget where they get their success.
For sure.
So we've got a little bit of that. I've got a little bit of yard work to do before the rain comes. Man, I sell houses, and I love selling houses. Home ownership, it's
for the birds.
Making grass grow is hard, man.
It really is.
It is hard. And so I got to do a little bit of that, I guess, this weekend. So I don't know. It certainly doesn't sound as much fun as yours.
It won't be, I promise.
It won't be. So next week, I guess we're going, or not next week, 2 weeks from.
We come next week.
Okay.
That's
well, I'm sure
if he can manage.
I'm sure it will be rescheduled. Either way, I'm sure it's going to be rescheduled. But we're either going to be in next week, the week after that. I appreciate you standing in with us.
Appreciate you having me.
Hopefully, Chad got everything done this week. And he'll be able to come in refreshed and continue with his talent ways.
Right.
So
if he actually listens to the podcast and wants to continue doing this,
I'm going to ask. You know what I will ask when he gets in here? If he even cared to listen to it.
I guarantee you did.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So to everybody out there, thank you for listening. I appreciate all the viewers out there. Again, if you'd like to sponsor, please contact.
Yeah, you can go to info. You can email info@themesh.tv, or you can go to www.themesh.tv, and there's a little button on the homepage that says advertise. Click it and fill out the form. Send me some info. We'll have a conversation about it.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, man.
Moose, thanks for everybody that helped with the show, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Peace.
Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.